2018 is officially over. Well, in a few days from now, or maybe even it's already over, depending on when you're watching this video. However, I've had so many life experiences this year, so many lessons that I've taken away, and now it's time for my little year 2018 wrap up / what I learned throughout the whole year. So time for some sexy drone shots. Kind of interested in seeing my hometown from a drone's eye perspective, especially looking at streets that I've walked down for many, many years and flying across my 2 schools that I attended while I was still here in England. I'm not here in England anymore because I spent most of this year in Budapest working out there, which is part of a much bigger film project. I can't reveal much about why I was out there, but I'll reveal more about that on this channel later down the line. But in terms of this year as a whole, my resolution, and I hate saying the word resolution because it's like, well, why did you wait till the end of the year to make a change in your life that you've noticed? Well, actually, I noticed this one genuinely like in December, and when I thought about it, it kind of is a New Year's resolution. It's self-discipline. It's having more discipline when I don't feel like doing something, even though I know it will benefit me in some way. Now, this is probably a massive difficulty that a lot of us have. We all want to do something, and you get the initial motivation of wanting to do it, and you come up with the idea, and then as soon as you sit down to do the thing or start the idea, you're like, oh, kind of daunting, way more than I thought. Well, I've experienced this a bunch of times this year. I've come up with film ideas that I've started shooting, and then I haven't finished them, or I got into a certain skill and learned it a little bit, and then spent months of just not doing it because I was busy and couldn't juggle it into whatever my life schedule was. And this for me has been the biggest negative of this year. It's being super self-aware of the things I want to do, but just not just expecting me to be able to just fit them into my life without actually thinking deeply about how I can do that. Now, as a freelance filmmaker, people think when you're freelance that you have to do everything yourself. When you're a doctor, you go to the doctor's office, you do your hours, you clock in, you clock out with, maybe they still use the paper where you stamp it, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, it'd be funny if they did. And then you do your hours, and then you leave, and then you have your schedule. Every week you know when you're going to be, and you know when you're going to be saving people's lives, hopefully. People think as a filmmaker, you don't have that. You're like, oh, when am I working? When's my next shoot? Which is true. That is true to some extent. However, you still have structure. When I get a call to work on a film shoot and they say, be at this shoot at this time of the day, and you'll be probably working for 11 or 12 hours or probably more because it's the film industry and we like to take a long time to plan and shoot stuff. You know, you still have a structure, right? You still know that you need to be on set at 9 a.m. and you're probably going to leave at this time. And even if you have only half an hour of sleep because you had to drive up back from London from another shoot, so you decided to sleep in the lighting company and then wake up with only 30 minutes of sleep and work on a film set for 14 hours, you still have some structure because other people are like creating the structure that allows you to do your work and improve and gain experience and just progress in your career. However, I've noticed that it's the truly independent projects that require only you to create, not only come up with the idea to do the thing, but you have to create the framework and the structure to make it happen. That, for me, is one of the most difficult things that I've had to experience this year. Having an idea and trying to work out how the hell do I motivate myself and create super easy steps to be able to do that thing. And even coming up with a reason why you want to do it and understanding how it's going to benefit your life or benefit others, it's still difficult as hell. And only this month I started to really schedule my own work, my own personal stuff in a way that made sense for me and would give me a bit of accountability to myself as well, and rather than just to other people. However, doing this is all great, but I've been through moments in my life, even probably when I did this on this hill last year, was that being so focused on work is not good. Putting aside your personal relationships with people for just your work is not good. And this is the weird paradox. It's that, how do I do more work but still leave time for people, because I know when I'm with the people, then I'm not doing the work and progressing with there. It's so difficult, and it's taken me a long time, and every single year I understand where this balance is and start to read into it more. So for me, a lot of this was figuring out, how do I leave room for those unexpected moments, these moments of inspiration where something happens to you and you just want to go along with it without thinking, oh, I've got this thing to do, I have to be really strict with it. It's leaving room for these instinctual moments and leaving room for your intuition to read into if you should just be walking around doing street photography and you speak to someone and you end up chilling with them on a bridge in Budapest for 3 hours, rather than going back and doing your career. And stuff like that is stuff that will I feel like when I've experienced stuff like that, it's refreshed me. It's made me grateful at the fact that, one, I have a job that allows me to do that to some degree. But also that, for me, those are the memories that you'll keep a long time, and they will motivate and inspire you to move forward with your actual work. And yeah, that balance is so tricky, but it's been something that I've consciously been aware of throughout the year. And hopefully when I do this next year, I'll be able to tell you how this whole structure that I've put in place for my own personal projects will help. I mean, even this video I scheduled into this organization of a video that is personal to me and hopefully will help you guys. And it's not work related really, but it's in there because I know that it's something I want to do, even though it's a cold, foggy day and it's not beautiful sun like last year, but who cares? I'm here and I showed up, and that's all that matters. Speaking of intuition, I used this same intuition to end up saying yes to spending most of this year in Budapest. And I think that's a really big part of life, which is knowing and getting better at reading into when to say yes or no to opportunities and experiences. And I used a combination of figuring out the pros and cons of whether to say yes or no and what it would give me and what I would lose if I moved there. But also there was something inside me that kept just thinking about what if I say no, what would I miss out on? And the more I lean towards the idea of not going, the more this thing just kept saying, like, you should go. It didn't literally say those words, but the feeling was like trying to push me to go down that path, which was such a strange thing to me because I never thought that if that opportunity ever came up, I would say yes to it, but it did. And I think the reason is deviating from your path or postponing the original path that you thought down is something that can happen to you in life, and it did happen to me in my life. And surprisingly, the things that I know I've learned from that have been so eye-opening for me. And one of the big instances this year was that I met a few of my friends, couple of old friends earlier this year, and they are basically in the position that I thought I wanted to be in and would be in when I left university 4 years ago. They had the job that I wanted, they were progressing to the point where they would be the thing that I wanted to be. I'm not going to get into personal details because it's not for this video. But it was so interesting to hear that the things that they were struggling with in life and the things that they're struggling with in life are the exact things that I've been focusing to build and learn about. For me, this was a huge revelation because I could have been at the position that they would be at now, but the side of them that is just not fulfilled for a certain reason has just not been explored by them, or they've not tried to learn about that. And that's literally what I'm doing right now. And I'm not going to go into detail about this because it's part of a much bigger film project that I'll cover a lot more in this channel later down the line. But that was a huge eye-opener for me in that I haven't completely disbanded my old path and my old journey for what I want to do. I've just postponed it or deviated from it to then maybe return back to the same route. Maybe not. I could go on a completely different path, but just knowing that I can always go back to where I was before with all this knowledge that I would never have gained if I didn't take that, if I didn't just say yes to that thing, is mind-blowing to me. And it also makes me appreciate the fact that I'm not where those people are because of the things that I would have missed out on if I didn't say yes to the opportunities that I had this year, to do things that made my comfort zone, that shattered my comfort zone completely and really pushed me through my boundaries of what I think is possible in the world, and things that I've been taught that I've realized aren't true in terms of what society says you can and can't do about certain things. I have faith in myself and in my instincts and in my intuition that when I look back, it will all start to make sense. The decisions I made, the people I met, the places I went, all the actions I took, they will all make sense, and I will start to really, really appreciate and be grateful for what they gave me and what they allowed me to become. And as long as I keep living with that knowledge and with that belief that everything is just gonna connect, as Steve Jobs said. I know Steve Jobs is overquoted, but he said a quote that I agree with, which is, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect the dots looking back. And right now, I guess I'm building all these dots with no connection. So hopefully the connection will happen later down the line. So that is the end of this video. Hope you all had an amazing Christmas. I know I did, because I got to eat Mama Grasso's delicious home cooking that I've missed so much being in Budapest. So I'm gonna take advantage of it while I'm still in my hometown and devour everything that she gives me, because it's always delicious. Let me know what you guys thought of anything that I said. If anything resonated with you in particular, drop it in the comments. Let's start a dialogue, because we're all here to help each other at the end of the day. And click subscribe, click the notification bell, because I have a video coming out very, very soon, which I think is hilarious and will maybe open your eyes in ways that you didn't realize. So stay tuned for that and get all the updates on when that will be released and future videos, because I don't want to just see you guys every year on the same hill. We shouldn't have that longer gap. I've been Adam Grasso, I still am Adam Grasso, and Happy New Year 2019, baby. Woo!